And that is Jacob's time of trouble. Now then, Ezekiel will tell you that Aaron cannot wear the high priest garment out here in the court. He has to take it off, because if he was to wear it out into the court, it would teach that Jesus was a high priest while he was here on earth, and he wasn't. He was the common priest. So Aaron would take off the priestly garment down to his white common priest garment again. Jesus will take off his garment, and he will be back to the white garment. Now I want you to notice they're both stepping out of the sanctuary in a white garment. And this garment is the common priest garment, telling very clearly and very plainly that if Christ had not been victorious in his earthly ministry, he could never have become our high priest. He could never have pardoned our sins in the holy place. He could never have blotted out our sins in the most holy place. He could never help seal our names in the book of life if he hadn't been victorious. Now, when he comes, we're told, he will be the King and Lord of Lords. But he has a garment on whiter than fuller's soap. So we're going biblically here. Go back to Leviticus 16, and you'll find that, I think it's in verse 23 and 24, it tells you that Aaron will have to come to this laver, and he has to take another bath. If you remember right, when we begun this study, Aaron stopped here and took off his clothes, took a bath, as he begun his ministry. Now, we're coming out now. Aaron is ending his ministry. He has to stop and take another bath. Read again in Great Controversy. We're told, remember Jesus, the disciples came to Jesus, and he said, are you able to drink with the cup and be baptized with the baptism that I am? Now, Jesus went through two baptisms. He went through the baptism of the river Jordan by water, and then he went through the baptism of agony in the garden. So anyone who ever goes to heaven is going to have to go through two baptisms if you live till Jesus comes. I went through a watery baptism already. I hope I don't have to live to go through the baptism of agony. But you know, before my wife died, I realized that every person has a Jacob's time of trouble, a testing time. When she had cancer, was so sick, she still hung on to God's hand and by faith trusted him. And she went through her testing time. And so, in the Spirit of Prophecy, we're told, now remember, this is the emblem of baptism, that Jacob's time of trouble is a baptism. So here is Jacob's time of trouble, right here. Now, why is it? Did you ever stop to think it's strange that our names have been sealed in the book of life, probation has closed on us, and yet, if we're one of the living saints, we're not fit for heaven? Do you ever stop and think about that? If they were fit for heaven, Jesus would just come and get them. But he can't, because they've got to go through that Jacob's time of trouble. What does it do? It says it causes them to exercise faith and hope and patience, which they too little exercised in the Christian experience. The other statement says it consumes all earthliness in them. So here's our Jacob time of trouble. Jesus will be there with us. Now then, what we're told he does next. It says that he comes to the altar of burnt offering. This is Leviticus 16:24. And these two rams who have been here all day, these two rams are used to make an atonement by fire, not by blood. Now, if you read 2 Thessalonians, you'll find that when Jesus comes, there's a lake of fire. Now, some of us think the only lake of fire there is at the beginning of the 1,000 years, but it isn't so. Great Controversy said she saw the great cloud coming with Jesus on it, and the bottom of it was a sea of liquid fire. So when Jesus comes, there's going to be a sea of fire, and that is what's going to destroy the wicked who are alive at that time. So why two? Because you see, he's going to make an atonement first. By the way, do you know what the word atonement means? Just break it down like it's spelled. A-T-O-N-E-M-E-N-T. At 1 month. That's what Great Controversy tells us it means. She tells us that the atonement is not completed till we are safely home in the heavenly kingdom with God. So Everything in this great ceremonial law, in this great plan of redemption, every step of it is a piece of the atonement. It isn't just the last part of the last day. Dear people, Jesus had to be born on this earth, the Son of God, to start the atonement. Started it so I could someday be at oneness with God. Every step, his life, his baptism, his crucifixion, his resurrection, his holy place ministry, his most holy place ministry, everything is part of the atonement. So I want you to realize what I'm talking about here. So he makes the dead at oneness with God first, and then he changes the living saints. So there's the two atonements there, of the dead and the righteous. Now, we're told that after he does that, then I took away one too many animals here. Where's the body of the Lord's goat I shouldn't have taken out. There. Then we're told that the very last thing, and we're coming clear down here, the very last thing in Leviticus 16 says, he takes the body of this bull and the body of this goat, and he takes it outside the camp, and he puts them into a lake of fire, a place of fire. Now, I want you to notice, this is the first fire, this is the second fire. Now, I want you to look at the sanctuary again. Jesus is going to come dressed in white, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And these lambs have been consumed. Well, everything's fallen. The lambs have been consumed. Now, when we started out this study, that's the way the sanctuary looked. You see, this shows me that when finally the blood at the foot of this cross that we talked about, the blood at the foot of the cross of Jesus, when this blood and this blood, which is the same blood, does its finishing work, redeems this world from sin, and God makes a brand new world, it's going to be brought back in the same condition that it was in the beginning before sin. This sanctuary started out without any blood or sin in it. And then when it's finished, it comes back to its original state. Now, there was a pile of ashes that we passed over. They were also on the east side of the altar. At the foot of the sanctuary cross, there was this pile of ashes. If you read the 73rd Psalm, the writer was feeling sorry for himself, and he said he served Christ in vain, and his feet were almost slipping, and he complained because the wicked out there had so much, eyes were almost popping out, and he was being persecuted and they weren't. It says, until he walked into the sanctuary and he saw the end of the wicked. He saw this pile of ashes, because Malachi will tell you that the wicked will be ashes under the soles of the feet of the righteous in the day when God restores this earth. So both of these promises will be fulfilled at the time of the earth made new.